Yo guys, welcome to the video. The top 60 qualifier has just come to an end, and the two winners are Kams and Forever YOLO. So first of all, huge congrats to them. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the deck lists they brought, and then we will play a game or two with one of them. So, as you know, in the first qualifier, then Tailbot and Bart ended up qualifying for the Open, and now we have found the two other participants. And the first one, it was very interesting because you have someone who like Tailbot, who brought 4 special decks. Like, they weren't seen on ladder before. They were like really just special made for the tournament. This tournament is a little bit different. These decks are all decks you've probably seen variations of before, and it's decks that you could take yourself and play on ladder, and I guarantee you will get good results. From my perspective, and I did a video on this as well, I did not do particularly well. I lost my first 2 games, 2-1. I was going for this targeting strategy against AQ/Did I Ambush, and I just didn't queue any of them. Even against something like Nature's Gift, I think would have been decent. So I think I actually had an okay lineup, but I kind of just missed the decks I want to queue into, which sometimes happens. That's the risk of building a lineup like that. But very exciting to see one of my good friends, Kams, making it, and I'm also really happy to see Forever YOLO making it. It's always nice when there's a new player who hasn't participated in a tournament before who gets a chance in an Open to prove himself. So let's start off with Kams decks. So first of all, we have Patricidal Fury, and this is a deck that, like, we have seen this a bunch of times before, to be honest. Like, this was the Skomegalo leader back in the days, and it's back now. So he decided to go for Patricidal Fury over Ursine, which is kind of interesting. The deck is running a card like Madman Logos, but you're not even running a Champion Charge. So you have taken out the Tall Punish options for more value plays in the Madman. I think the reason for this is that his lineup is probably banning a deck like Kelly anyway. So he's kind of saying, okay, I don't actually need these Tall Punish cards, but you might want to consider from ladder, but instead he just wants more of these value cards. So that's why he's running a card like Madman Logos, Herkia, Lock. And I mean, this is just a good deck. I think you can easily take this and then do really well with it. There's some Tall Punishing the Morg, there's Turkey, but obviously if you go into much Kelly or maybe Colgrim, you will probably struggle. Then next up, we have Kelly himself, and I think this is like a very, very good choice for Kams, because the thing with Kelly is that it's not that easy to target, and you kind of have to go all in on it if you want to target it. And no one really did target it, so Kams brought Kelly, and it got banned almost every game, I think. So really good read from Kams. And again, this list is pretty similar to what you've seen before. He's running a few tech choices. He's running a Straits of Spala, he's running a Crow's Eye. There's no bump in the list, and I think this is probably the most interesting thing, he's running double Fogtail. So you have a deck that doesn't run that many units. So he's just saying, okay, if I go up against Swarm decks, let it be AQ, or let it be Did I Ambush, then he can just be like, he can just kill them with the Fogtails. Like, if you're AQ against decks and you go up against double Fogtail, it's basically impossible to win, I think. So really nice read from Kams to build this sort of lineup that just does really well against these Swarm decks. Kind of the same idea as I had, but I think he did it better because he brought some decks that are better all around. So next up we have Uprising, and Uprising is a ladder deck you've been seeing all the time. I won't talk much about that because this is what a lot of people have been bringing. I don't think there's anything new to this. You are running Ansayas in the 10p slot. You're running Margarita in the 6p slot, and the rest is completely standard. Just a very good deck. Not much to say about that. And finally we got Nature's Gift, and Nature's Gift did kinda change a little bit. I was playing a version a lot that did really well with it, but that was without Defender and Pavko, which this version is running. So this version is basically saying, okay, we want to invest a little bit more into the engines by running Figures and Pavko, and we give up some point slam from, for instance, Elias. Some people prefer to run Syrian in the 6p slot. This card, which just giving you a lock for 6 provision, pretty okay. But Kams is saying I actually prefer Paulie because I'm running Pavko, which is roll-locked, so sometimes the opponent will kill the defender or purify it and then move the Pavko. But you could just be like, oh, I'll just move it back. Whereas running Ciaran is a decent card, but quite often Paul will actually work as a lock as well, because you can, like, if the opponent's engine is roll-locked, like Kelly or Nithral, then even though, like, they might just protect it against the lock with a leader charge, but you can still move it back row then. So pretty flexible card, and the armor can also be pretty valuable, and like a Doomka or Pavko. And then the rest of the 4 and 5 piece, yeah, pretty standard. It's blocked out here. These are supposed to be Hammered Riots. So that's Kams decks. Now let's move on to Forever YOLO. So Forever YOLO also brought Nature's Gift. He brought a very slightly different version. I actually think the only difference there is here is that he's playing Ciaran instead of Paulie. So that's like the only difference, and it's kind of a personal preference, I guess. Like against NR, I think Ciaran is probably better, but in a lot of other matchups, I think Paulie is more solid. So there's some pros and cons. And I guess in terms of the council consistency, then I believe this is the only elf you have in your deck. So by like including that, you just have a guaranteed lock access always with council. So there are definitely some pros running the Ciaran as well. Then next up, we have Lockdown. And this is like a pretty... I mean, this is very similar to the deck I was playing, actually. Like, I think 1 or 2 seasons ago, I started playing Lockdown. Just, like, same deck, basically. Ball, Usurper, Joachim, Ramon, Brathens. I was using Crystal Skull. I was playing Collar, where he's preferring to go for Crystal Skull. But a lot of the bronzes are similar. Master of Disguise, Bronze Thinning. Kind of just a solid deck. It is interesting that he's opting to go for Lockdown, because there's some double cross on that as well, and there are some decks that don't rely that much in their leader, but apparently he had very good results with it. So again, like if you don't like double cross as a leader, or if you don't like the Colgrim decks, then this is definitely a deck you can choose to go for on ladder, and I'm sure you will do really well with it. Then we have Uprising, and I think this deck is exactly the same as what Kams was playing. Let's just refresh. So yeah, I don't think there's any difference. I think maybe Kams was running a Squirrel versus a Royal Guard in this one. But other than that, it's identical. So again, good deck, strong deck. Highly recommend playing it for now. And then the final deck that YOLO was playing was Earth and Ritual. And also a deck here that you've seen it before. Standard Skomegalo cards. With the tech choices here with the Grimace, Jenge, and Wolf Glance. You have a single Bear Witcher. And you're running a Marauder, which is also a little bit nice if you go up against something like HU. And I was asking Forever YOLO, like, what was his idea behind this lineup, and he told me that, well, he was basically just wanted to play some ladder decks. He was just, like, he didn't want to do anything crazy, he just wanted to bring the decks he felt comfortable with. And what can I say, it worked out really well. So sometimes when going to tournaments, you don't need to invent something crazy. Sometimes you can just take good, strong ladder decks and perform really well with them. So yeah, like these are basically the decks that Kams and Forever YOLO brought to the part 2 of the top 64 qualifier. And now I'll just jump into a few games with Kams' Arnjalf, because it's quite a long time since I've been playing with Parasite Fury, and I feel like giving that a go again. Okay, we go up against the Deadeye Ambush. Usually not a particularly easy matchup. But the nice thing we have here is that we have the Heimdall compared to the other list we were playing. And we do have a Lugos, which is better than Champion's Chat, so I could see it being a close one. I think we need to win round 1 and bleed. So let's see here. These engines are quite strong. Maybe we kick a ship here, actually. Don't want the Bear Witcher just yet. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep this hand. So we don't know if he's running the version with Force Protector and Rebuke, so if he's running the version with multiple Tall Punish, which makes my opening a little bit awkward. But I think I'm just gonna go for Brockvar Hunter, to be honest. So if you know the list, you can consider using TA on some of these, but for now I think it just makes more sense just to... Okay. That's fine. I guess I'll just drop a radar then. Just trying to drop our engines here. Again, I'm pretty sure we need to win round 1 on bleed. Long round against it doesn't sound particularly appealing. I just want to try to take this with minimal commitment. Our hand is kinda weak in a good way, so we should be able to go fairly deep. It's only really Hemdall or maybe Turk we would rather not play here. So that's good. But this card is not that usual, so I'm just kind of wondering what he's playing. Okay, he's playing Log as well, sure. I think we drop this first and bait the Rebuke. If it doesn't go through, we can safely drop the Herkia.
May your sword and arm be one.
So now we drop the Herkia, I think. Again, I don't really want to buff anything here because of a Heat Wave, which is not going to find good value otherwise. This list is usually running a Squirrel, so I would rather not play into that if I can help it. So he's setting up the Bowman here, which we could have considered playing around. Maybe we should have played around that, to be honest. Considering to go Blood Eagle here into the Marauder and try to kill this one off. It does of course give him the Squirrel, but we could also just go for Raiding Fleet here, maybe. Like these plays are all pretty big commitments. But I just think it's so important to take the round. And this should be difficult for him to go up against, like double engine that are playing for 1 point a turn, whereas he has an engine that's playing for almost 1 point a turn. He also got bleeding on his side of the board. And generally I think that the deeper this round goes, the easier it is for me to bleed. So he goes for his own Nairo here. Goes for a Thunder. I'm not sure why I would ever run a Thunder over something like a Rebuke here, so it's a little bit confusing to me. Unless you're playing Elsa, but that doesn't make much sense either. So I'll just go for Savage Spear here, I think. And then maybe we just take a TA here. He's losing 5 points here, so technically we are up by 13 points. So soon he will have to start committing good cards, I think. One issue with this list is that, like, without Blue Boy, the Kaduchi is actually sometimes a little bit tricky to get good value from, because you're only running one Bear Witch as well to support it. So he goes for the Heat Wave after all. Interesting. I think we just go for this and develop another Raider then. Or do we? Yeah, let's just develop another Raider here.
Women, children, elders, we spare none.
Seems okay to me. Just get another one of them in the graveyard. So it seems like he's trying some sort of like a almost no unit version of elves that just wants to control the opponent's board and then slam big points with Scenario, Yavin, Venusial, etc. And unfortunately I have to go for this now. Would have liked to keep it, but I think this will force him out. Hopefully this will force him out.
And consider it done.
Otherwise, I think I'll have to pass regardless. Like, if he is some sort of no unit version, him having last say could also be quite valuable for him. At this point, I'm a little bit sad that I'm mulliganing away the Bear Witch, because the Bear Witch would obviously be very nice to have here to drop. But he has to play some points of significance here, otherwise I think he'll just get bullied out. Or at least have to commit something very huge next turn. Goes for Maxi. So he needs 11 points here. I think I'll just have to give him those points. I could play the Turk as well. But at that point, the round is getting so short that beating is super, super awkward regardless. So I think I would rather just say, okay, you can have the round. You have to do 11 points. Is that enough? He needs to go for leader charge as well. Okay. Get a leader charge and needs to reveal out of him. At least that's something, I guess. He got an Iromancy, he got a Maxi just played, so most likely we can expect him to find basically everything. We just need something we can drop in the dry pass here, which is actually pretty crucial that we find that. Fuck. Okay, the boat here is huge. Otherwise we're actually kind of doomed. Nice. Maybe the Herald wasn't the right mold though. Maybe we should have a small scroll instead. Because we could actually struggle a bit with productivity here. We find it again. All good. Hand is looking okay, to be honest. But obviously... I mean, I think this is an okay hand. Don't mind it too much. We can start Herald. We can go Jenga next maybe. Go for Savage Bear. I think this is okay. We should just roast like back row. Obviously if he goes no unit here for a lot of turns, this could be a little bit awkward as well, but I'm not sure he will go no unit that much. I don't want to play this heat wave, 2 control cards. Obviously him still having... okay. We could just kill that, I guess. I think we just kill that. We don't really have anything better to do here, so... seems okay. Like, more of these cards is just good for me. One thing that could be a little bit awkward with the stack is that if you go leader, because you want to set up Blood Eagle, you might end up killing one of your tokens. So you have to go Blood Eagle on the token as well next and just do some value by doing it that way. Maybe should have mulled the Savage Bear because I'm just killing too much stuff for that card to ever be good. But presumably he will start playing cards soon. Okay, goes for Curse here. Could just drop Savage Bear, but he could have like another Making a Bomb maybe. Maybe just drop Jingay. Like, he's gonna play a scenario where we could potentially lock that, but we could also just kill it probably. Yeah, there it is. So if we go leader here, back row. But maybe we want to save that for the guest ray if he's running that. Maybe we just ignore that and just go like double, at least single. Do we want to go double? Could have a Sapper, but if you don't, then you could just go double discharge and Yavin it. On the other hand, we also have the Herald, so maybe it's okay. And I guess if you have Sapper, then we just Turkey go through, so that shouldn't be that bad.
Swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn.
I'll do this, and I'll go Turk on this one, I think.
Smell of a burning village in the morning.
That's a nice hit. So he's probably going to go Yavin next and try to... I guess, yeah, I could just go Yavin, kill Harold. And then he can go for his Waylay, and maybe the Savage Spear after he takes a ping on it. Something like that.
If I'm to die, I'll do so.
Yeah, that looks like a Yavin. Would be surprised if he doesn't ping it. Okay. So no Yavin then? Oh, that's a Yavin. Not quite sure I understand that sequencing there too much.
We shall drive the ape men into the sea.
I think I just go leader now with Hemdell, although I might break my Blood Eagle, but in that case we just take Invader instead of the Lugos, so I think it's okay.
The Moroi drink with our forefathers. The time has
Hopefully some tokens will survive here. Not really. The Blood Eagle is dead now. It's a little bit unfortunate. But we don't need to kill the Gesra, which is why I did this. If he goes Verno.
We shall retake the cities that were stolen from us.
So maybe I was supposed to go Blood Eagle first. In hindsight. I think now we always just take the Invader here.
Can you die already?
Okay, let's see if he has the points. He's gaining 4 points passively here, so I think we win.
Daisy of the Valley.
Gesra last play, that shouldn't be enough. Alright. Nice, we took the win in the end. Really happy that we actually win the long round against that. So, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the sort of videos where we look at the decks of the winners of these qualifiers or official tournaments and go through them. Is there anything you would like to see, Is there anything else we should discuss about them? But yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.